Alrighty, I've shown off my Amiibo collection, let's see them in action. I'm going to start with the game series that started it all, Super Smash Bros. I'm going to show off Smash Ultimate because the Amiibo function the same way in Smash Bros for Wii U and 3DS. And hey, might as well show off the new Amiibo I got. Before we even get to use the Amiibo, we have to register it. Once you scroll through the menus and enter the Amiibo menu, you can tap the Amiibo on a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con, or in my case, the centre of the Switch Pro controller. What this does is create a CPU-controlled fighter that is capable of learning to fight during matches. You can either fight with or against it. At level 1, the Amiibo fighter doesn't do much, it's a pushover, but once it reaches a high enough level, it becomes quite the formidable fighter. What's different about Amiibo fighters is that you can enhance them with snacks in Smash Bros for Wii U 3DS, or in Ultimate's case, you can fuse them with spirits to make them stronger, more durable, or speedy, however you want to mould them. I should point out though, once you're done with your Amiibo, you have to save the changes you made to it by exiting through the put away option. If you simply exit the game and close the software, not only will you lose the growth of your Amiibo, but you'll lose any spirit you fused it with. I learned that the hard way. And that's about it. It's a CPU fighter with spirit functionality that grows during battle. No different from a user setting a CPU level and giving them a spirit team. Apart from the fact that you can send these about others online, which is interesting I guess, but given how limited these things are, and how much over the recommended retail price independent sellers sell these, it kinda makes you wonder whether they're worth the hassle. But Super Smash Bros. Isn't the only game that's compatible with these Amiibo figures. There are plenty of games that function with Amiibo in a way that, in my opinion, is more worth it. Take Super Mario Odyssey for example. You can walk up to this machine called Uncle Amiibo. If you scan an Amiibo when prompted, you'll be able to acquire the location of a specific Power Moon. And if the Amiibo is a specific Super Mario character, you'll receive a costume based on that figure. It's not the only use though, you can scan Amiibo during gameplay as well. Scanning a Mario Amiibo will give the player temporary invincibility. A Peach Amiibo will grant Mario a life up heart, which is quite handy. And if you scan a Bowser Amiibo, you'll be able to see the location of those purple regional coins. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury gives the player some goodies. Scanning the Cat Mario Amiibo will grant the player an invincibility bell, which is pretty much the invincibility leaf, only it's the cat transformation, not the Tanuki one. The Cat Peach Amiibo can also give the player an invincibility bell, but there's also the chance of giving a random power up instead. As for other Super Mario Amiibo, you'll get a Superstar. Bowser's Fury has some unique Amiibo use. Scan a Bowser Amiibo and Fury Bowser appears immediately. And for scanning a Bowser Jr. Amiibo, unleashes a shockwave to take out nearby enemies and blocks. Mario Kart 8 has some Amiibo outfits for Mii's up for grabs. Scan the corresponding Amiibo and it's yours. There's a surprising amount of costumes, some of which aren't even Nintendo related, like Mega Man and Pac-Man. Super Mario Maker for the Wii U had quite an interesting Amiibo function. If you scanned a supported Amiibo, you could play a said character in the NES style. This opened up the creativity of designing levels, but unfortunately this wasn't carried over to Super Mario Maker 2. The 2 Anniversary Mario Amiibo had a unique feature that produced a big mushroom which made Mario big and alters the aesthetics of the screen, from enemies looking like Mario to the CTR filter. The colours changed to reflect the 8-bit Mario Amiibo you scanned. Next we got Hyrule Warriors. Scan up to 5 Amiibo a day and you can get a range of things like materials, weapons and rupees. If you scan a Zelda character that's playable in the game, you'll get a high-end weapon for that character. For the Wii U version, tapping a Link Amiibo will net you the spinner weapon, which since then has been made available in-game in later versions. The functionality is mostly the same in Age of Calamity. Scan up to 5 Amiibo a day to net you materials, rupees and weapons. No unique unlocks as far as I'm aware, apart from weapons specific to the figure scanned, and even then it's not guaranteed. The same goes for Fire Emblem Warriors. Any Fire Emblem character Amiibo scan that's playable in the game grants you a weapon based on that unit's weapon type.
What more could we expect?
But with Chrom and Tiki, you can unlock Chrom's training sword and Tiki's tear respectively. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes doesn't give you anything unique, but scanning a Fire Emblem Amiibo will increase the chance of getting high quality rewards. Speaking of Fire Emblem, 4 mainline games feature Amiibo functionality. In my opinion, Fire Emblem Fates is the game that wins the gold reward for the best Amiibo use to date. There are only 4 Amiibo that work: Marth, Ike, Robin, and Lucina. Once you scan them, they will appear in your castle. At first, you can have a little chat with them and introduce each other.
I am Marth.
Some characters hint mid-conversation they were fighting in a Smash Bros fight, and then after talking with you offer a choice of accessories. If you scan them enough times, they will challenge you to a fight, and you can accept their challenge. If you manage to beat them, they will join your ranks. And they're not Ninja spirits or anything like that. They are unique characters, complete with their signature weapons and voice lines.
I win.
The only thing you can't do with them is support with them. Other than that, this game sets the prime example of Toys to Life done right, and the best use of Amiibo to this day.
Our cause is just.
Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valencia, on the other hand, isn't as elaborate as Fates. You can still summon the 4 characters, plus Roy and the 2 Corrins during battle, but they will fade away after a turn. A letdown considering they're just illusions this time around, but makes sense considering the context and time placement of this game. It's not the only Amiibo function though. If you have the Alm and Celica Amiibo, not only can you summon them in battle, but you can copy their current stats to their respective Amiibo, and the stronger Alm and Celica are, the stronger their illusionary copy will be. You can also use the Alm and Celica Amiibos to gain access to exclusive dungeons, Doomer's Ordeals and Miller's Ordeals. Clearing these dungeons will give you rare items, including some not available during normal play. Fire Emblem Three Houses doesn't reward you with much, unfortunately. Scanning a Fire Emblem character amiibo will unlock battle music based on the character you scanned. An added side effect is you'll start to see items scattered around the amiibo gazebo, which can spawn once per in-game month. Fire Emblem Engage has similar amiibo functionality. As mentioned in my Engage review, the 12 Fire Emblem character amiibo grant you tickets to buy music and costumes based on the 12 emblems in the game. Now let's take a look at Twilight Princess HD because there's quite a few amiibo uses here. Run out of arrows, scan any Link amiibo, and they'll get replenished. Running low on hearts, scan any Zelda or Sheik amiibo, and you're revitalized. The Ganondorf amiibo, on the other hand, allows enemies to deal double damage as indicated by the blue hearts. So if you think Twilight Princess is too easy and you want a challenge, or you're the sadistic type, then this amiibo is for you. I should mention Twilight Princess HD has a hero mode, which doubles damage by default, as well as disables hearts from appearing. And yes, the Ganondorf amiibo stacks, meaning enemies will deal 4 times damage. Beating this game with this setup is not for the faint of heart. The amiibo with the most functionality is the Wolf Link and Midna amiibo. For starters, you can tap it on the title screen to quickly load a save file associated with it. The big feature is the Cave of Shadows dungeon, which is similar to the Cave of Ordeals found in Gerudo Desert, but has fewer floors and locks the player to Wolf Link. Clear all the floors and you can obtain a wallet upgrade. If you manage to collect all the wallet upgrades in the main game, you'll receive the Colossal Wallet, which allows Link to carry a whopping 9,999 rupees. Once you've beaten the Cave of Shadows, you can save a record of your achievement and the amount of hearts you have, and this is where the Wolf Link amiibo functions differently in another Zelda game. In Breath of the Wild, if you scan the Wolf Link amiibo, you can summon Wolf Link and have it travel around with you. The more hearts you registered in Twilight Princess HD, the stronger Wolf Link will be here. This is probably the only amiibo I can think of that carries data from one game to another, and the execution is pretty impressive. And isn't this a surreal image? You have Link in the Twilight Princess outfit standing next to Wolf Link. Out of context of Breath of the Wild, this is technically the same Link standing next to each other. While I'm on the subject, I might as well go over amiibo use in this game. I touched on it in my review of Tears of the Kingdom, and the functionality is pretty much the same. If you tap an amiibo, you'll get a bunch of materials, items, and more. Scanning Legend of Zelda amiibo will grant you an array of Zelda memorabilia, from gear sets to weapons. Real quick, I'll talk about Skyward Sword HD. It only has one amiibo function, which is the Skyward Sword Zelda amiibo. And believe it or not, this Amiibo function has a bit of controversy surrounding it. If you ever need to fast travel to the sky and back, just tap the Zelda Amiibo and you're sorted. When you're in the sky and want to travel back to the surface, just scan the Zelda Amiibo and it'll put you back in the spot where you first used it. It's quite the handy tool. So where does the controversy lie? Well, from what I've heard, this sort of feature should have been in the game by default and not locked behind what people call a paywall. And it's not hard to understand why. This is a remaster that has every opportunity to refine the gameplay of the original, and Skyward Sword HD does quite a bit. But to have one quality of life feature locked behind an Amiibo, let alone a limited edition one, I mean, I can't complain because I was lucky enough to buy one of these. But for those unfortunate, I can see where they're coming from. Anyway, let's take a look at Metroid Samus Returns. There are 4 Amiibo uses here: the Samus Aran, Smash Bros Samus, and Zero Suit Samus Amiibo give the player reserve tanks of Aeon Energy, Missiles, and Health Energy respectively. So if any of these run out, the respective reserve tank will automatically replenish the consumable to its fullest. These Amiibo also unlock artwork and music based on the game, but these can't be viewed until the player beats the game at least once. The Metroid Amiibo has a completely different function. Scanning this Amiibo will reveal the location of a Metroid in the current area, which can give the player an idea of where to go to progress further into the game. Its secondary function unlocks a new difficulty called Fusion Mode. It's a difficulty harder than the default hard mode, but allows the player to play as Samus in the Fusion suit. But again, this mode can't be played until you've at least beaten the game once. Finally, I'll cover Mario Party 10 to see why the Mario series Amiibo was important to have. The game features Amiibo Party mode, which, you guessed it, allows you to scan a selection of Mario Amiibo and play on a board based on the character you used. The gameplay is similar to previous Mario Party games in that you take turns moving around the board. The goal is to buy and hold the most stars by the end of the game. After each turn, a minigame initiates to give the player a chance to earn more coins. Yeah, the reason I'm explaining this is because the actual Mario Party in this game doesn't work like that, as it uses the car mechanic, which fans were not happy with back in the day. So if you wanted to play Mario Party the normal way, Amiibo Party was the closest thing to it. Without any Amiibo, this mode is unplayable since the Amiibo is required to throw the dice and stop roulette selections, but to get the most out of Amiibo Party, it would be handy to have 4 players and compatible Mario Amiibo on hand. Luckily, the Mario Party team came back to their senses with Super Mario Party and returned to the series' roots by going back to the good old move wherever you want formula, and has stayed that way since. Amiibo functionality is in Super Mario Party, but heavily downscaled. Tapping a Mario Amiibo character once unlocks a shiny character sticker, and every subsequent tap grants the player 100 party coins, up to 500 a day, rinse and repeat. There are a lot of other games that use Amiibo. Unfortunately, I can't show off every game that uses them because I either don't own the game, the Amiibo, or both, but there's no denying the impact Amiibo has had with Nintendo. Whatever your thoughts are on these, there's a clear audience for Amiibo since Nintendo still announces and releases new ones to this very day. Whether you're a sucker for that extra in-game bonus, or just want to display something in your home, Amiibo continues to sell out like cupcakes and roller skates, and it looks like it ain't fading away anytime soon.